What if I told you that your lifespan on this earth was set to a certain number of years? I am hearing the call not only to myself, but I'm hearing a global call where God is calling his chosen ones to wake up. Wake up from your sleep. If we've gone through life and we're not living up to our highest God-given potential, if we're not living with purpose, we're sleepwalking, we're drifting from one day to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 month to the next, 1 year to the next. God is saying, when I formed you in your mother's womb, I wove into your DNA your gifts, your skills, your talents, your abilities. They weren't just placed there for fun, although we can have fun and be passionate about what it is that we're gifted to do. But he placed them in us with the expectation that he will get a return on that investment. And as we go through life from our birth, humans, we typically count our years from one moving forward, from birthday to birthday. But God's clock is different, because scripture says that Yah tells the beginning from the end. As he's talking to us, as he's calling to us, as he's ordering our steps, he already knows where we're going to end up in this thing called life. Let me prove it to you. In Psalm 139, verse 16, it says, your eyes saw my substance, being yet unformed, and in your book they were all written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them. And when I think about this, I think of the parable of the talents. There was a rich businessman, and he was going away, and he had 3 of his workers, and to each of the 3, he assessed what their capacity was, and he gave them each a certain number of talents. To the one who had the capacity for a higher return on his investment, he gave him 10 talents. The second one, who had a mediocre, not bad, but just mediocre capacity for a return on an investment, he gave him 5 talents. And to the third one, he gave 1 talent. And he went away on business, came back, and he was ready to settle the books. So to the one that he gave 10 talents to, he said, okay, what is the return on my investment? He said, here, I've doubled your investment, sir. Well done, good and faithful servant. To the second one that he gave 5 talents to, what is my return on my investment? I've doubled your investment, sir. Well done, good and faithful servant. But what about the one that he could only entrust 1 talent to? And to that one, what is my return? He said, hey, I know you're a shrewd businessman. Sometimes you collect, from fields you didn't sow in. So with that, I buried the 1 talent that you gave me, but I'm giving it back to you. And he says, depart, right? And God feels the same way about us. He's given us these just amazing skill sets that sometimes it's so much so that people will say, how do you do what you do? You make it look so easy. That's because you are operating within your gift, within your talent, or within your skill set. So like those workers, our Father, our Creator, is expecting a return on the investment. As humans, he sowed us as seed into this earth, and he wants an increase on that. And the only way you will get there and increase your capacity to generate a higher return on that investment is you'll decide to live with purpose. We were not created to go through this life on autopilot when we only have so many days on this earth. And he didn't create us just to coast through and not live and not live a fulfilling life, a life with joy, peace, He talks to us about shalom. He talks to us about entering the believer's rest. He says some of us will never get there, but that's his will for us. So my question to you is, are you willing to do what you need to do so that you can make that decision to live with purpose and follow through? And in you deciding to live with purpose, the expectation is that you will be like a seed planted in fertile soil. And as you learn to be who God created you to be, you are going to get well enough and know how to do it to the point where you can teach another person how to be all they were created to be. And that pathway is through doing our inner work. What is it that we still need to address? Are there open wounds from our past? Many of us have experienced traumas, and we're all familiar with post-traumatic stress as a syndrome. But what about post-traumatic growth? Those of us that have come to the other side of our pain to realize this pain led me to my purpose. And now I'm saying, had it not been for those things, I wouldn't be able to fill in the blank for you. Because had it not been for every dark moment in my life, and I don't just mean the painful ones, but the good ones too, the good times. But everything that's happened to me in my life, whether I understood it or not, whether I wanted it or not, has prepared me to be able to talk to you today and encourage you to do what you need to do to become that amazing man or woman of God you were created to be, so that God can get that return on his investment in you. And you can hear him say at the end, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of the Lord." To help you with this, I've created an ebook. It's called Decide to Live with Purpose, and it's completely free. But within that ebook, I've included a self-assessment. And in that self-assessment, it's really quick, but it'll give you an idea as to where you are on your purpose journey. Because sometimes we just need to know where we are and then we take off from there, right? But in this community here, this Wealth from Within community, because go back to the videos leading up to this, we were created for wealth. We were created to have all of our needs met according to his riches and glory. How do we do that? We do our inner work to experience wealth, legacy, and the life we've always wanted to live. It's ours to have. So if what I've shared with you in this video has resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about living with purpose. Have you decided? Are you afraid to? But I'll see you in the next video. Love and blessings. Bye-bye.